Hi friends, in this session we will set up our environment and also install tools that we'll be using in this course. So first let's start with Java. You can see that I have Java 11 installed in my computer, and you can check that in the command prompt by using Java version command. And if you don't have this set up, then you can follow the link that I'll be putting in the description. Follow it and you can set up the OpenJDK version. Okay. Next we have is Docker MySQL. We'll be using MySQL database as our backend, and I'm using Docker container to run my SQL instance. And you can see that I have my SQL image, and you can also see that I have my SQL container also up and running. Okay, and again, it's not must to have or use Docker container for your MySQL instance. You can just download the MySQL and install it on your computer and make use of it. It's just that now I'm comfortable using Docker containers. So any software or application that I want to run, I use Docker container. Okay. Next we have is the IDE. We'll be using Spring Tool Suite. This is nothing but is developed on top of Eclipse, and it comes with all the Spring plugins, as we'll be working more with Spring framework, so it makes sense using SDS. And this is also product of Spring. And if you're comfortable working with IntelliJ or NetBeans, you are free to even you can use those IDEs too. Okay. Next we have is the SQL Developer, and this is the tool that we'll be using to interact with our MySQL database. It is an open source tool that we'll be using. And next we have is Postman. Postman is the tool that we'll be using to test our RESTful web services that we'll create. And you can go to the Postman website, and depending on the operating system, you can download it and follow the normal installation steps. And this is how it will look like once you successfully install it. In the collection, what we'll do is we'll create a collection and create request for all our web services, and we'll look into this and see how we can use Postman to test our RESTful web services. And you can also use other tools, like we have, if you're using Google Chrome, there is a plugin that you can use, RESTlet, that I also sometimes use, which is a great plugin to work with RESTful web services. Okay, but Postman is something that most of the companies uses when working with REST web services. It is something that good to learn how we use Postman. Next we have is GitHub account. Okay, so we will be using GitHub as our code repository. So create an account in GitHub, and all the public repositories. Again, GitHub is free if you're creating public repositories. Okay, and next we have is Git tool, and this is not a must. Okay, it's an optional tool that you can install. It is now sometime if you are doing the Git commands using CLI, you can use Git through your command prompt. And if you are comfortable doing Git commands using the IDE, you can use the IDE, that is a Git plugin that is inside that comes with the Spring Tool Suite, or any IDE that you are using. Okay, in this course we will be working with the IDE for all the Git operation, but there will be certain there will be some situations where we'll be using the old school way of doing the git commands, okay, through that is through CLI. And you can see that I already have it installed. You can see I'm using git version 2.27, and you can go to the git website, and depending on the operating system you can install it. And it is again the simple installation process that you can follow and get it installed on your computer. Okay, so these are all the tools that we'll be learning in this course, and it's also good, you know, that these tools are industry standards, okay, and is being used in most of the companies for developing real-time applications. So set this up and make sure that you have all this environment, these tools in your environment. And we'll not be using all this in one session, but as with the course progress, we will make use of all these tools and softwares. Okay, so that's all for this video, and I'll see you in the next session.